Now students, in the previous presentation we have studied the three main states of matter, that is the solid, liquid and gases. Continuing this part of that part, in this presentation we are going to study about the change of states of matter and various factors which affect the change of states of matter. Now let us continue with this topic. Change of states of matter. As you see, in our daily life, we may come across the various substances which exist in the three states, that is the solid, liquid and the gases. Water, as we know that water is the most commonly observed example which exists as the ice also, as the water also, as well as the water vapor. Water vapor means as in gas. So the water is the most commonly example which can be exist in the three states of the matter. Now the states of matter, these are interconvertible. The interconvertible means that it can be changed from one state to the another, that is from the solid to the liquid, from the liquid to the gas, or from gas to the liquid, or liquid from the solid. So the phenomena of change of matter from one state to the another and back to their original state by altering the condition of the temperature and the pressure, or we can say by altering the few factors, is called the interconversion of states of the matter. Now basically there are the main two factors which are responsible for the change of states of matter. What are they? That is change in temperature and the change in the pressure. So basically we are going to study these factors which affect the change of states of matter. Now students, let us discuss about the effect of change of temperature. What happens when the temperature increases or when the temperature is decreases? Let us discuss it now. So let us take the solid first. When a solid is heated, the kinetic energy of its particle increases due to the increase in the kinetic energy. That means we are giving the energy to the solid and the particles start vibrating with the greater speed. Now what happened? The energy supplied by the heat, it overcomes. That means when the energy supplied by the heat is more than the force of attraction between the particles. Now what happens after that? When the energy is more than the force of attraction between the particles leave their position and they start moving more freely. At a certain stage, solid starts to melt and is converted into the liquid state. Now at a certain room temperature, there is a point reached when the particles have enough energy to break free from the force of attraction of the each other. At this temperature, the liquid starts changing into the gas. In contrast, that means what happens when we decrease the temperature? By decreasing the temperature or by cooling, a gas can be converted into the liquid state and a liquid can be converted into the solid state. So students, it can be concluded that the state of matter can be changed into any other state of matter by changing their temperature. By increasing the temperature or by decreasing the temperature, we can change the one state of matter to the another state of the matter. Now students, let us learn about the terms which are involved in the change of state of the matter. Following are the few terms which are involved in the change of state of matter. First is the melting point, or we can say fusion. The process, what is this? The process of conversion of a matter from its solid state to its liquid state at the specific condition of the temperature is called the fusion and the melting. The temperature at which a solid starts melting is called the melting point of that solid. Higher the melting point of a substance, greater will be the force of attraction between its particles. So basically, as melting, as you know, the melting of anything, that is the solid is melting. For example, you take the ice. When you take out the ice from the refrigerator and keep it at the room, after some times you will see that the solid ice is changing into the water. That means the ice is melting. Simply conversion of the solid state to the liquid at a specific condition of the temperature, that is called the melting, and at the temperature at which the solid start melting is called the melting point. Now the boiling, as the another common term, boiling. With the term only you will know that water is boiling when the water starts the boiling. So what happened? The process of conversion of a matter from its liquid state to the vapor state at a specific condition of the temperature is called the boiling. And the temperature at which a liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure, it is known as the boiling point. Now the next term is the sublimation. That is, what is the sublimation? It is the process of change of solid state directly into the gaseous state. Keep that in mind that the solid is changing directly into the gaseous state without undergoing to change in the state of the matter, that is the liquid. Here the solid is not changing into the liquid first. Here the solid is being changed into the gaseous state directly. This process is known as the sublimation. Now another term is the deposition. This is the new term for you. Deposition, it is the change of the gaseous state directly to the solid state without going through the liquid state. As we know, sublimation is from solid to gas and the deposition is from liquid to solid directly, from gas to solid directly. Okay students? Now students, the another terms which involved in the interconversion of the states of the matter is the condensation. Condensation, as you are reading earlier classes also, it is the condensation means cooling down. That is the process of conversion of the matter from its gaseous state to the liquid state at a specific condition of the temperature is called the condensation. That means if we cool down the gaseous state, it convert into the liquid state. That change of state of matter is known as the condensation. It is basically a reverse process of the evaporation. And when any liquid is changing into the solid state, that known as the freezing or the freezing point. Okay. Now let us discuss about the latent heat of the fusion and the latent heat of the vaporization. But first of all, we have to learn what is the latent heat. What happened when a heat is given to any substance, it in temperature increase. It obvious, when we are heating any substance, its temperature increases. When the heat is supplied to change the physical state of a substance, there is no increase in the temperature of a substance. Yes students, whenever whatever the heat energy we are supplying to change the any state of the matter, there is no increase in the temperature of a substance. Thus the heat energy which has to be supplied to change the state of the matter is called its latent heat. Whatever the amount, or we can say the amount of the heat energy which has to be supplied to change the any state of the matter is called its latent heat. In actually, the word latent means hidden. Latent heat does not raise the temperature, but latent heat is always supplied to change the state of a substance. That is, the latent heat is a specific heat which does not rise the temperature of any object, but it is being supplied to change its state, to start the change its state. Okay, so latent heat can be of the following two types. That is the latent heat of the fusion. So what is the latent heat of the fusion? The amount of heat energy that is required, whatever the amount of heat energy is required to change the 1 kg of a solid. It can be 1 kg of the ice also. So whatever the heat energy is supplied to that 1 kg of the solid to get change into the liquid is known at its melting point, is known as the latent heat of fusion. Now what is the latent heat of the vaporization? Same thing, the amount of the heat, the quantity, or we can say the quantity of the heat energy that is required to convert the 1 kg of a liquid. In the fusion we have the 1 kg of the solid, and in the vaporization we have the 1 kg of a liquid into the gas at its boiling point without any rise in the temperature is known as the latent heat of vaporization. Now students, so far we have discussed the effect of change of temperature. That means what happens when the temperature is affected in the change of states of the matter. Now we will study what will be the effect if we change the pressure in the conversion of the states of the matter. The physical state of a substance can be also changed by the changing the pressure also. On increasing in pressure, what happens? The increasing pressure brings the particles closer and it increases the force of attraction. As you can see in the picture also, we are applying in a cylinder, few particles are there, and as we are increasing the pressure, the particles are coming closer and the force of attraction is also increases. That brings about the change. That is when the high pressure is applied to a gas and its temperature is reduced. The gas can be converted to a liquid, and further the gas can be converted into the solid form. When the gas is converting to a liquid, the gas is known as the liquefied gas. Hence we can say that the pressure and the temperature determine the state of a substance, whether it will be a liquid or a gas. As you can take one example of the carbon dioxide gas. The CO2 gas, it can be solidified by applying the pressure and lowering the temperature. Now students, let us discuss about the evaporation in detail, its various factors which affect the rate of the evaporation. Now the process of conversion of a liquid into its vapor state at any temperature below its boiling point is called the evaporation. That means we don't have to reach till to the boiling point. It should be below that the boiling point, that is called the evaporation. What happens? The particle of a liquid have the different amount of the kinetic energies. The particle present at the surface possesses the comparatively higher kinetic energy as compared to those present in the bulk. Therefore, particles at the surface with the higher kinetic energy is able to break away from the force of attraction of the other particles and get converted into the vapor. Water, when left uncovered, slowly changes into the vapor. As you see, if you will take, you can do one experiment also. Take a small amount of the water in a bowl and keep it in a room. After few times or after few days, you will see the water will not be present. Why? Because the water has been evaporated. Okay, now let us study the factors affecting the evaporation one by one. Surface area. First phenomena is the surface area. The surface, if the surface area is increased, the rate of evaporation also increases. As you know, when your mother is washing the clothes, she spread the cloth under the sun. Why she is spreading the cloth under the sun? Because she is increasing the surface area of the water, so that the water should be evaporate in a quickly manner. Okay. Now next is the temperature. Of course, the temperature also affects the rate of the evaporation. The rate of evaporation of a liquid increases with the rise in the temperature. It is quite obvious, if we raise the temperature, the rate of evaporation will also be increased. With the increase of the temperature, more number of the particles get the enough kinetic energy, more the heat energy will be provided, the particles will be having the more kinetic energy to go into the vapor state. One daily life example is evaporation is faster in the hot summer day than in the winter or on a cloudy day. As you will see, your clothes will dry in the summer season, when there is a sunny, very dry, and in the summer season, because the temperature is so high, so that your clothes will dried up quickly as compared to that in the winter seasons or in the rainy seasons or in the cloudy seasons. Humidity. What is the humidity? That is the amount of the water present in the atmosphere. That is the humidity. So, it is the amount of the water vapor which is present in the air. The air around us cannot hold more than a definite amount of the water vapor at a given temperature. If the amount of the water in air is already high, the rate of the evaporation decreases. Yes, if there is more humidity you feel in the rainy seasons. Yes, in the rainy season you feel very humid. Sometimes you say that ma'am, it is a very humid, hot and the humid. So humid means there is enough water, or we can say more water is present in the air. So when the water is already present in the air, the rate of evaporation, obviously it will decrease. That is why the clothes dry up faster on a dry day than on a wet or the rainy day. Now the wind speed. It is also known that the clothes dry faster on a windy day. Yes, when there is a very windy day and the wind is blowing in a very fast manner, the clothes dry faster. Okay, why this is so? This is because with the increase in the wind speed, the particles of the water vapor move away with the wind and decrease the amount of the water vapor in the surroundings. That is why the rate of evaporation of a liquid increases with the increase in the wind speed. More the wind speed, the rate of evaporation also increases. Now students, the evaporation, do you know that the evaporation causes the cooling effect also? Now in an open vessel, the liquid, as you know that the liquid keeps on evaporating. So what happens there? The particles of the liquid, they absorb the energy from the surroundings. So some of the heat energy they absorb from the surrounding, which helps the liquid in evaporating. Okay, so this absorption of the energy from the surroundings makes the surroundings cold. Yes, when the liquid is absorbing the heat from the surroundings, so what happens? The surroundings becomes the cold. Now there are the few daily life examples which causes the cooling effect due to the evaporation. As you noticed, whenever the ice cold water, whenever a water bottle you take out from the fridge and you placed it on a table outside the fridge, what happens? You see after some times there are tiny droplets of the water you will see at the outer surface of the water bottle. By this, how does it happens? So what happened, whatever the heat is there present in the surroundings of the bottle, that vapor are condensed because the water bottle is cold, and those water vapor are condensed, and the vapors, when they are cooled down, when they absorbs the heat energy, so what happened? It condensed into the droplets of the water. That means this occur as the water vapor present in the air, they comes in contact of that bottle and they get cooled and condensed. Whenever the water vapor are cooled or condensed, they form these small water droplets. Okay. Next example is the cotton clothes are used to wear during the summer season. Why we prefer the cotton clothes wearing in the summer season? Because cotton is a good absorber of the water. So it helps to absorb the sweat from our body. As it is obvious, the person perspires, or we can say the person sweats more during the summer due to the auto temperature, due to the hot summer. So that the wearing of the cotton clothes helps in the easy evaporation of the sweat. When this sweat evaporates, it takes the heat of the vapor from our the body. It takes away the heat from our body, which in turn it cools the body. Thus a person feels very comfortable in the cotton clothes. Next is, as you see, many people are sprinkling the water on the roof or on the open ground on the hot sunny day. Why this is so? When the water is sprinkled on a hot surface, it gets evaporated very quickly. You observe that in a very hot day, you sprinkle some water on the roof, it will get evaporated very quickly. As the evaporated water leaves the surface, the cool due to the large latent heat of the vaporization of the water. This technique is quite effective in the summers for cooling the surface. Now, as you know that the nail polish remover, or we can say the chemical name of the nail polish remover is the acetone or the alcohol. When we placed in our palm, we feel it very cool. Why this is so? Acetone and the alcohol, they are very volatile liquids. That means they evaporate very quickly. So what happens, we kept on a palm, their particles gain energy from the palm or the surroundings and they evaporate very easily, which causes the palm to feel very cold. So these are few of the daily life examples which causes the cooling effect due to the evaporation.